Hey guys, happy Thursday. Today is October 29th, 2020. We are going to be continuing our Unit 3 place value. In your journal, I want you to write on a new clean page fraction decimals in expanded notation. So we have been practicing forming fractions as decimals through the thousandths place in word form, pictorial model, decimal fraction, and regular fraction form. Today we are adding on the last part of place value and writing in expanded notation. Expanded notation. Pause the video here if you need to write that down on the title of a new clean page. So today, students will learn how to write fraction decimals and expanded notation. Vocabulary that we've already heard: standard form of a regular number is just a plain Jane old number. Then we have expanded form, which is taking each one of those values, such as 4,307 is written out 4,000 plus 300 plus 0 tens and 7 ones. The expanded notation is a little bit different, where you have 4 times 1,000 plus 3 times 100 plus 0 times 10 plus 7 times 1. And if you want to think about this being where you have your parentheses around those areas that are multiplied first, remember our PEMDAS, where you can do your parentheses around each one of those. You are more than welcome to write parentheses. I always do. It helps me around each one of those, and then you add them up after. So you would multiply first and then add them up if you were trying to get back to the original value. So today we're adding an expanded notation of decimals. Here we have the example of 4 and 307 thousandths. This is the one that I would like you guys to write in your notes for today. As the example, you have expanded notation of decimals, 4 and 307 thousandths, which means you have 4 sets of 1 for 4 times 1. If you want to put the parentheses, it would go there, plus 3 sets of tenths, or 3 times 1/10, plus 0 sets of 1/100th, so there are no 100ths, so it would be a 0, because anything times 0 gives you 0, plus 7 times 1,000th. This is written as they are in decimals, the value of each. And these are written as a fraction. So you have 4 times 1 plus 3 times 1/10 plus 0 times 1/100th plus 7 times 1/1000. So again, I would like you guys to take a moment and write those. I'm going to erase my markings here so that you can actually get all that information. If you need to, pause the video. And again, I'm erasing all of my markings so that you get that clear. Pause the video here. This is one of the most important things that we will have as far as our notes. And again, just writing that expanded notation is the form of your decimals that I want you to do. Okay. Here is an I do. So I want you to put your pencils down and watch and just pay attention here. So we're going to start with our values, and I'm going to expand it out. So this reads 1 and 409 thousandths. So I'm going to start with my largest place value, and I'm going to work with it. So my 3, I have 3 sets of 1. 3 sets of 1 plus, here's my 4. It's in the tens place. I have 4 sets of 1/10. So if I multiply 4 times 1/10, I would get 4/10, which is right here. Plus, I have 0 sets of hundredths. I'm going to write it out. You don't have to do this. Some ways ask you to notice that it's there or not, but either way, if you write it, it still means you have 0. I have 0 sets of 1/100th plus 9 sets of 1,000ths. If I added up all of these equations, I would still get back to my original form. 3 times 1, 4 times 1/10, plus 0 sets of 1,000 plus 9 times 1,000th gives you 3 and 409 thousandths. Remember that has that THS. You have to label that last part. Now here is a we do. And I have them typed out as the examples that are there, but I want you to write them down. So this reads 9 and 164 thousandths. And I want you to write that out. So if you need to pause video, wherever you need to pause, rewatch, but we're going to work through this one together. So here I have 9 sets of 1, and that is what we have here, equals 9 sets of 1, which would go here. 9 sets of 1. Plus, here it has 1/10. I have 1 set of 1/10, so I would write 1 set of 1/10. This is a decimal. Plus, here is my thousandths. I have 6 sets of 1,000ths. And plus 4 sets of 1,000ths. So here in the example, you would be plugging into me. It's kind of confusing to already have these, but I had 1/10, which is there. I had 6,000 or hundredths, which would be here. And then I have 4 thousandths. If I added these up, I would have 9 and 164 thousandths. Pause the video here and get all of this written out. Again, it is there. Now this last one, I want you to copy the notes as is here. You have 5 and 207,000, but I want you to try to expand it out on your own and then pause the video here and then come back and check and see if you did it correctly. This one is tricky. Again, it has a 0 inside of there, so when it comes down time for you guys writing your own equations, it gets a little bit tricky there. So we have 5 and 207,000, 5 and 207,000. Again, checking your work to make sure that you did it. So you should have 5 ones, you have 2 tenths, and you have 7 hundredths. So this example skipped that 100,000ths. Another way to write this is 5 sets of 1 plus 2 sets of tenths plus 0 sets of 100ths plus 7 sets of 1,000. You need to know that both of these answers give the same exact value. So if you did it either way, I would suggest you write it both ways so that you know how to do it. Okay, the exit ticket is for you guys on page 18. This is how I want you guys to do it. I want you to try C and D on page 18 to do them on your own. And then I am going to check back in with you guys to make sure that you are doing this correctly. When we get to the independent practice, I will be walking through number 2A and number 3A with your classmates in the classroom. So at that time, I will want you guys live with me so that you can check to make sure you're doing them correctly. Again, I will be walking through number 2A and number 3A with your teammates. So if you get stuck or you're lost, you're dazed, you're confused, Please make sure that you are live with us as I go through them. And then once you get this finished and you've taken your photo and you've sent it in to me, the last part of that is there is extra practice for Thursday for expanded form. Again, these have your examples as them in fractions. So this means you have 2 sets of 1/10. You can write it as a fraction or you can write it as a decimal. Either way, remember those fractions as a fraction and fractions as a decimal still represent the exact same thing. So if there is any questions or concerns about any of the work today, make sure that you ask. There is no dumb questions, but if you don't ask, I can't help. Even if you need to type it in the chat or let me know in some other way. But that is it for today. Remember, let's try to get those exit tickets done first and check back in with me so that we can go over the independent and extra practice for help today. All right, good luck, and I'll see you guys soon.